Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment and extreme execution coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And y'all, we have to talk about it because last week, as you know, I was in Houston, and you would know if you listen to my videos, okay? And if you haven't, please go back on my YouTube channel and check them out. But last Sunday, I was at the Cry Out Conference, and how I found out about this conference, we're going to have a whole conversation about this because Pastor Keon Henderson, who is out of Houston, Texas, his church he is my pastor. I listen to him faithfully, and I found him literally before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, he was one of the ones that really just like helped me keep spiritually uplifted throughout everything that was going on. And I love him. So when he announced it back in the end of October that he was having this conference, because every single year I come here and I tell you guys my vision for my spiritual and personal development is always huge. So I have things lined up for me to do in the next year. So when he announced it, I'm like, that's one of the things that I want to do because I go to conferences often, and I already know it's like, do you go alone? Yes, I do. I travel alone a lot because here's the thing, and we're going to get into this conference, y'all. Pastor Mike Todd said one thing. He was talking about seeking the kingdom, and I said, when he said it, it instantly made me think about how many times people are sitting around waiting for somebody to give them information, waiting for the government, waiting for their employer to give them some sort of raise, just waiting for people to do something. And I'm like, if you just sort out what it is that you wanted for your life, what it is you want to do, stop waiting on people. Here's the thing I really want you to hear. You're waiting for people, and there are people waiting for you. You're waiting for people and people waiting for you. What do I mean by that? Your purpose, your gift. There's somebody sitting around waiting for you to get into action so that they can get into action based off of your gift. Every single Sunday I come here and speak. This is my gift. And I know that if anyone comes across it, it's something that I can say that can help set them free. How do I know that? There's a book that I read. It's From Homeless to Billionaire by Tony Parada. And he talked about he was homeless on the beaches of Thailand, and he came across a book. The book was The Secret. And when he came across the book, it was the words in the book that helped him have hope, helped him create a vision. And see, here's the thing. Most of you haven't created a vision for your life and have lost hope for your life, for your legacy. It's like words can do so much. There's so much power in words. If you start speaking the great I am enough. I am great. I am successful. I am bold. I am beautiful. Start speaking the great I am over your life. Speak life over yourself. Watch the changes that happen. Watch the things that come. So getting back to this conference, I'm going to tell you. So I went when I go to conferences like this. I'm just going to tell you. I like to submerge myself. I am all in. I am focused. I am intentional. I need you to hear that. I am intentional. I'm just as intentional when I go to these conferences as I am about my personal and spiritual development. I'm very, very intentional. So that means that I'm not going there to play. I don't make arrangements to go see people when I'm in these states because there's time. I don't really have time to do that, and it's not while I'm there. And so the conference started. I got the VIP package. So they had like a VIP party that Thursday night, and that was just so beautiful. It was so much fun. I got to get my little line dance on because you people think, oh, it's a spiritual conference. They're not going to play reggae music. See, that's why you got to get with my pastor because yeah, he does. What I loved about it too, he was there. He recently married Shawnee O'Neal. Well, it's not recently. It was last year, and she was also there with him. The very down to earth, very like loving. They were going around taking pictures with people and just talking to people. It was so beautiful. My mentor, my coach, who was beyond dope, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, he was there as well. And let me tell you something I love about E. So there was another another woman that was with me who also was also in the community. She actually was one of the people who recommended me to be one of the leaders in his community when I came in. And when he saw us, he was just like, hey, you people would think like people are not. Let me tell you, Eric Thomas is everything you think he is and then some. Very down to earth, very loving. So it was just that Thursday night was fun within itself. We danced. It was nice. But let me tell you about this conference. So, who was a part of this conference? And I'm going to look back at this book because although it was last week, I'm going to tell you why things were such a blur for me, okay? So I mentioned E.T. the hip hop preacher was there, Pastor Michael Todd, the singer Andrea Johnson, Travis Green, who I didn't even know. I thought he was just a singer. No, he's a pastor and has his own church. Pastor John F. Hanna, oh my God, this man of God. I can't even. Kathy Taylor, she's also artist. Chandler Moore, you would know him from Maverick City. There was another artist, Jabari Johnson. I didn't really know him. Tim Godfrey, he was all the way from Africa. Okay, and when I tell you he tore that stage down, we was in there getting it in. Okay, we wasn't just worshiping. We was doing all sorts of things. Okay, we was dancing, getting it on. Anywho, Dr. Caroline Leaf, who talked to us about mental health. She's a mental health and mind expert. But let me say this. So the conference itself, started officially on Friday. When I tell you from Friday till Sunday when it ended, they had morning sessions and afternoon sessions. I'm gonna talk about me. I ain't gonna tell on the people about them crying too. But when I tell you from the morning to night, crying all day, and the only time that there probably was no tears was when we had break to go to lunch or dinner. I was so filled. Let me say this when I talk about intention. I want to back up. Before I go to a conference, like I had a lot of questions for God. I don't come here in front for y'all. Like there was a lot of questions I had in terms of, where I'm headed even in my career as far as my business is concerned. I'm also looking to retire from my 9 to 5 soon. So, it's like I just had so many questions. Like, God, I've been faithful. I've been obedient in a lot of things. So, it's like, when is, certain things going to show up for me? I'm just being real with y'all. Like, I have normal stuff, just like everybody else. My kids, I keep telling you, get on my nerve, just like every other parent. So I had lots of questions when I came. I was questioning a lot of things. I was questioning my gift. I ain't gonna front, y'all. I have very special gifts. Very, very special gifts. And I was questioning my gifts. It was just so much on my mind. And there was also some things I felt that were going on with me that I couldn't even put my finger on. At first, I thought it was just because, I found out recently, and I talked about this in a previous video, that I found out that I was, in perimenopause, and that took me for a spin because these doctors in the healthcare systems, they really don't care about women. They want to tell you that something is normal, and then they look at it's like, how can something be normal for me when I've never experienced it, right? They think it's normal because, other women have experienced it, but hey, my body is my body. My mind is my mind. Listen, there's only one Tarnisha Moe Sass. I can prove it because nobody else has my fingerprints. Don't treat me like I'm like everybody else. I don't know what's right for somebody else. What's right for them may not be right for me. So that's a whole other thing. But I thought it was like maybe because I was going through that, like I just couldn't put my finger on what I was feeling. I don't know about you. Have you ever felt that? Like, tell me, let me know in the comments, like where there's something going on because you feel like, well, you know what? I have a good life. I'm blessed. I'm not worried. I ain't worried about the price of eggs, right? It's like I'm blessed, but there's something. It's like something like you just can't put your finger on the pulse of it. Like, but I just don't feel like myself. It's like, yeah, I'm joyous and yeah, I'm happy, but I just don't feel like myself. I can't be the only one. And if I am, okay, I'll take that. But if I want to know, am I the only one that feels that way? Let me know. But that's what I was feeling that when I went to the conference. In the very first morning, on Friday morning when Pastor Keon Henderson was preaching, I got a revelation from God about the fear. It was what was on me as I had a fear. It was a real serious fear of my gift. I had no idea. This I'm telling you guys, when you are in your everyday assignments and you're working, you're developing yourself, you're reading and doing all of these things, you're just on the go, you become numb. to a lot of things. I became numb. I was numb. I didn't even know it. I was home. I wasn't feeling like as emotional. I just was numb. And being at that conference and crying, I'm gonna tell you something. Before I went, I was numb. I was experiencing like lower back pain. My knee was bothering me. My energy levels wasn't kind of like there. The power of putting yourself in the right environment with the right people. I'm going to tell you that I cried so much, like literally every single day. Like I said, from the morning sessions, the afternoon sessions, crying. I let all of that out of my body. See, those emotions were trapped. They were trapped in my lower back. They were trapped in my knee. And see, people don't believe it. They think, oh, it's just pain and I'm going to take a pill. Some of this is there's healing that needs to take place and it's trapped in your body. There was healing that needs to take place in me. Listen, you are like an onion. There are so many layers to your healing. That's why I always come in here and tell you, you got to find your way. And because just like your body is different and what's normal for everybody else is not going to be normal for you, it's the same thing in your healing journey. It's like there's so many layers to this thing, and you may be in the midst of feeling something you don't even know what you're feeling. And you have to put yourself in an environment and with the right people to help bring it out of you. That's sometimes why people are experiencing pain in their body. Let me tell you something about it though. Got myself in the right environment at the right time with the right people. I promise you, I had so much energy. My lower back wasn't bothering. My knee wasn't bothering. I'm talking about, I was like, standing, if you know anything about black church style, you're gonna be up and down, right? Sometimes on your knees. People were running across, feeling the Holy Spirit, right? So it's a lot that happens in the plates. But it's not about its end. I want to tell you that I was releasing. I needed that release. I need someone needs to hear that right now. You need a release. You need a release. You're numb. It's so many things going on in the world. You see so many things on social media, and you're like, what is going on with me? You need a release. Pastor John F. Hanna, let me tell you about this man. He said something that was so profound. He said, when you're in the right place at the right time, he was talking about us. He was like, you're in the right place at the right time with the right people. He could not be more. He could not be more correct. I was in the right place, the right time with the right people. That meant I was able to be vulnerable, and just let it all out. I didn't care. Let me tell you something else. There are going to be moments in your life when you're going to notice when you've changed. See, I don't walk around saying, "Oh, I've changed. Oh, I've changed. I've transformed." Because the truth of the matter is, sometimes you don't really know. You don't know until somebody kind of says something to you. There were so many revelations that happened at that conference when I know I'm not the same Mo I used to be. Okay? Because from people working on my nerve, because, spirits get busy when you trying to get free. I'm going to say that, okay? And from that to how I handled it, and I wasn't trying to be better than anybody. I just really realized, like, yo, I'm so intentional being here. I'm so focused. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm grateful to sit in the very first row right in front of the stage. I was so grateful. Like, I didn't even have time for nothing else. But Pastor John F. Hanna, that man, I'm telling you, he like really, really, really set it off. Mike Todd, he talking about seeking the kingdom, really opened me up to, I am doing the right things in terms of seeking out my personal development. Stop waiting on people, y'all. Stop waiting on change to come. You are the change. Stop waiting on somebody to give you the blueprint. You have to create it. Okay, that's why God made you the way he made you, and that's why you think different. That's why you feel different. That's why you look different, because you are different. So stop waiting on somebody to give you something that you're supposed to give somebody else. And I want to say this again. I'm not telling everybody you should be an entrepreneur, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not for the weak. I'm not saying that. But even on your job, you're still waiting. You're waiting for somebody to come and hand you the raise, the promotion. You got to go out there and get that thing. You got to get yourself on the line with your supervisor. What is it? This is what I've accomplished. This is what I've achieved in 2022. It's 2023. This is where I want to be. What does it take for me to get there? You got to have the conversation. Effective communication. Stop waiting on somebody to give you something. Nobody's going to give you anything. You have to seek it. Go out there for yourself. Put yourself in these environments. Listen, whatever it is you want to do with your life, you got to get yourself in those environments so that you can flourish. Leadership. Of all things, vision and empowerment. Why do I talk about vision so much? Because I understand this one thing, and God set me free on this revelation. And I want to say this too, disclaimer: I don't care what you call your God. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm not here to convert you to anything. That's not it. I do believe, however, that you can grow and learn from so many people. And what happens is, with a lot of people, is you turn off you turn on a deaf ear. You turn down the volume when you hear someone that may not believe in something that you need to believe in. You turn down the volume when you're judging people on how they dress. You turn down the volume when you feel like, oh, who was this person to kind of tell me something? You turn down the volume and you miss the blessing. You miss the miracle. Because I promise you, I've heard even sometimes, I remember one time I was in Atlanta and there was homeless people out there talking. This woman said something. I was like, wow, I got a revelation from a homeless person. See, but you won't catch that because you're too busy judging. Child, we ain't going there today. All I'm going to say is, listen, vision, the reason why vision is everything, and I have that revelation from God, is because I understand that a lot of people have sight. They see a lot of things, but they don't have any vision. They don't have a vision for their life. That's why it's like when COVID happens or they lose their job, they lose their minds because they don't have a vision for their life. The vision is the end goal. Where do you see yourself? And I'm talking about dreaming big here. Where do you see yourself? What legacy do you see that you're going to leave for your family? What do you like? What don't you like? What legacy do you want to leave? Listen, the very choice that you make can change the very fabric and DNA of your family. If you just make a decision to create a vision, what is your financial vision? What is your spiritual vision? What is your personal development vision? Where do you want to be when you retire? What do you want to have? Forget when you want, I just really need y'all to see vision is everything, because vision, it will drive you when everything around you is falling apart, when life is lifing. But you have a vision, and you know God's given me my vision. You know it's coming, and the difference between where you are right now. So I always say the difference between here, which is where you are right now, and there is your vision, is the T. And what does the T stand for? Time. Did I make that up? No, I didn't. I heard it from a very profound leader, David Emanite, and I loved it. And so when we talk about time, here's the thing: it's not your time. And the truth of the matter is, you have to develop yourself to even get it. You have to develop yourself. That's why I love vision. Vision drives me to develop myself. Y'all going after the money. I know one thing for sure and two things for certain. When I develop myself, all of that's going to come. How do I know? Because it's coming. How do I know? Because I do it with my clients. Period. And I watch them float in abundance. I watch them going from being hopeless to hopeful. That's what vision will also do for you. See, you can't lose hope on the vision, because you'll understand that all it takes is some time, and it's going to come. But what do you do in the meantime? You pursue it. What do you do in the meantime? See, a lot of people talk about proximity, and I think there is something beautiful to proximity. But if you get into proximity of power and you don't have a vision for your life, and what you're going to do is you're going to tear that thing down. Proximity means nothing if you're not in pursuit of a purpose. Proximity means nothing if you haven't worked on your development. So all you're doing is tearing everything down. I'm going to say this to you too about environment. Les Brown said something, I'm telling you guys. He said, there are people that come in to subtract from your life, add to your life, multiply your life, or divide you. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys have to work on mastering and staying away from people that subtract from your life. A person who's always looking for a problem will always find a problem. A person a person who knows their solution, they are the solution, is always seeking out the solution because they realize they're the answer. A person who's always looking for a problem, I promise you, they're going to always find a problem. I promise you. You can put them in environments like the one that I'm in where people are getting set free and they will always find something. Oh, that's why I don't like this or this and that or this and that and that and this. And then they'll be like, oh, but you just people. No. It's like, some people was always going to seek out a problem. And you got to let them do what they do. I'm going to say this stop trying to save folks. All you can do is plant a seed. It's up to them to water it. It's up to them to nurture it. But people who are always looking for a problem, they're going to always find one. And you're going to sit up here trying to change their mind, and you're going to find yourself drained. And that's what I'm talking about, subtracting from your life. And then people, listen, you got to get around people who add to you and multiply you. After 2023, I just hired a new coach last week. Why? Because I know this person's going to multiply me in what it is. It's time for next level. It's time for the next level. I'm not sitting around waiting for somebody to give me something for the free. Because here's the thing about free. Free gets you general information. When you want to go to the next level of your life, this is why you got to get a coach, a mentor, spiritual advisor. First of all, you should be developing yourself spiritually anyway in your life, because what it does is it stops the generalities. My clients work with me because it's personal. I'm taking them on their personal journey to help them find their way. Why? And I keep telling you, this is why I wrote my book, Finding Your Way. Because it's about you, your blueprint, the way, listen, your lane is yours. It's not about finding my way or doing it my way. I just come and I give you guys bits and pieces, that I pray that you can take and listen and multiply this seed that I'm giving you. Water it, nurture it. Say, listen, I am going to start seeking out conferences and the things that I love to do. I am going to start seeking out people who are going to add to my life and help me multiply and help me dream big than I've ever dreamed before. My dreams are huge. That's why I don't really fall into like depression and stuff. And I'm not saying like I don't get sad, but I don't really fall there because I have a vision. My vision keeps me going when everything around me is falling apart. When my son was murdered, I had a vision for my family. I said, the devil ain't gonna take my kids. Are you kidding me? I had a vision. That's what helped me keep going. You gotta get a vision for your life. And then you have to get around people who help add and multiply. And let's talk about the people who divide. You gotta get away from people who divide you. And what that mean by divide? You have values, morals, and principles in your life. And these people come along and be like, oh man, forget that. Oh, you stuffy. Oh, you gonna save yourself? Like you already had kids, so now you talking about in your adulthood, like saving yourself for a man that you're gonna marry? Like, why would you do that? Oh, you can just have one drink. You can just have one drink, girl. You could listen. You not no better than nobody else. You could just gossip about her. Those are people who would divide you from your values, your morals, and your principles that you have said to help take you to the next level. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you are on this climb to be a better you, I'm telling you, there's going to be people in your life that's going to try to pull you back. They're going to divide you. You got to get away from those people. And how do you get away from them? Let's talk about it. Elevate yourself. Elevate yourself. The higher the eagle flies, guess what happens? Snake can't handle that elevation. Eventually, they're going to suffocate and fall off. Elevate yourself. You don't have to run around announcing every year talking about who you're gonna cut off and you're gonna stop. You cut like like what you call on social media, unfollowing, blocking people. That's too much energy. Get intentional about your growth. Get intentional about making a vision for your life. Get intentional about what legacy you want to lead. If you want to know how to start your vision, first of all, you have to know what you want. You have to know what you love. You have to know what you don't love. You have to know what legacy you want to lead. You got to start and sit with yourself. Ask yourself, I said this before, ask yourself some questions. Look around the environment. Is this where you want to be? If it's not, you got to start getting intentional. Everybody has a choice. Listen, please don't miss me with that. Oh, you can say that. No, I was 322 a month welfare mother. Okay, single mom. All right. Was I married before? Yup. Did I get divorced? Yup. Was my ex-husband bad? Nope. Great father. Still is. But none of that has anything to do with the fact that my mindset was broke. Y'all think it's just your pockets. It ain't that. You got a broke mindset. My mindset was broke. I didn't understand that I could do more, be more, and have more than. I didn't understand that it was taking accountability for my life. When you take accountability for your life, please hear me. Everything changes because you know you're the solution. You have to say, I am the solution. I am the solution. When you take accountability, that's what that says. That I'm the CEO. I can hire, fire. I can be where I want. I could do what I want. You can be free. I was in that conference, y'all, listening, and I felt so free. What do I mean by that? There was people in there worried about what somebody was thinking, worried, being self-conscious about themselves. I did not care. I was so free, y'all. That's the best feeling in the world, that peace of mind, that freedom. I was shouting, I was dancing, I was laughing, I was crying, and I can say that to be true. 47 years on this earth. The first time I felt free, I felt free. That's what healing will do for you. You want to know what vision and what healing would do for you? It will set you free. And the reason why you can't get into your vision is because you got to heal those traumas. You got to heal those things in your life. It's the healing that's in the way. That's why you can't even hear when somebody comes and give you something good. That's why you can sit through a whole conference and still have questions. You can hear coaches speak. You can come here and listen for the free and still don't get it, because the simple fact of it's healing. You have to get healed. How do you get healed, Mo? Well, the very first thing I did was I started with my spiritual development. I went and got a Bible, the NIV. First of all, I had the King James Version, and I ain't gonna lie, I was confused a lot. It was like, reading in Old English was rough for me. So I went and got the NIV version. It's a study Bible. I love it. It broke it down into layman's terms where I can understand it. What else did I do? I got a therapist in my life. All right. And I didn't just go to therapy and then I thought I got healed and then I stopped. No, I still go for maintenance. And that's another thing. Everybody is like, oh, I got it. I can run with it. You don't even understand. It's a lifelong journey. Every time you unleash a one layer of the onion, there's another layer underneath. That's why I told y'all I felt something was going on with me. I didn't even know what it is. I found out at the conference. Okay. What's another thing I did? I got a mentor in my life. What's another thing that I did? I got a coach in my life. I had to pay. I had to step up my game. I did. I had to step up my game. I had to ask for help. I had to get vulnerable. I had to get honest. I had to get real. And here's the biggest thing. I had to do things that I never did before. I remember going to emotional intelligence program and they do like what they call it, catharsis or whatever. And you screaming. And before I'd be like, man, I ain't sitting up here screaming. But I had to realize something. These people knew something that I didn't. So when I started to scream, just like he said at the cry out conference, when I started to cry out, oh man, the freedom, the release that happened. And some of you need to do it. Some of you need to just scream and cry out. It's not fake. It's not phony. It's not a white person thing to my sisters and brothers. It isn't. It's a release. And the reason why you feel trapped, and the reason why you feel like you can't move forward, and the reason why you're stuck is because you're still stuck in that same mindset of looking cool and trying to be, and at the end of the day, you want to die, and your gifts are going to go with you, and you could have been the very person that set your family free, but because you refuse to not look cool and to not scream, who cares? Get your healing. Get your healing. You have to get your healing. And if you can't pay for a coach, because there was a time that I couldn't, I went and read every book I could. I promise you, y'all, my library is extensive. I just started reading. If you can't afford to buy the book, go to the library. Okay? I'm going to tell you that my book, you can find it on my website, www.moesass.com. It's $19.99 plus shipping and handling. It's $20. And let me tell you how I know that people can afford $20. And I'm not going to talk about them Beyonce tickets that everybody talk about. Okay? Because everybody like, oh, you can pay for them Beyonce tickets. Leave them people alone. I'm going to say it because I was a $322 a month welfare mother who bought $100 shoes. Am I proud of it? Nope. But did I do it? Yep. What am I saying to you? A lot of us waste money on frivolous things that are not going to help us grow our mindset, things that are not going to help us be a better person, things that are not going to help. All I need for you is to try to get 1% better every single day. Every single day, 1% better. Okay? And it starts if you don't have if you can't hire a coach, if you don't have a mentor. And let me tell you something too, you have to step outside your area. I get on planes. I went to Houston. I went to Key West in November. I get up and I go. I'm not waiting on anybody, because my prayer for my life, my vision is that my words are going to set people free. And I can't live that out if I'm stuck in my home. And where I live, there's nothing around me, y'all. I have to get out. I have to drive at least an hour to get to be able to have certain interactions. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Your blessings, your miracle. I said, my pastor said it, but not believe it. This is a year of uncommon miracles. But that means you have to speak life all year. You have to get a theme for your life. My theme for my life this year is joy, vision, and extreme execution. If it's not bringing me joy and pushing me towards my vision where I can execute on an extreme level, I'm not doing it. I'm not going there. I'm not being around it, period. And that's where I need you to be. And if you do need help, you want to reach out to me, info@moesass.com, info@moessass. .com. You can email me. Also, my website, www.moesass.com, if you want to book me as your coach. My calendar is now open. If you want to purchase the book, it's also on there. But here's the thing: I want people to understand something. If you're chasing money, you, if you're chasing money, you're chasing thin air. If you're chasing money, you're chasing thin air. You don't have to chase anything that already belongs to you, but you have to get the mindset, the know-how, and the belief to understand that. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you next week.